Today, we'll learn about some new discoveries in the ruins of Pompeii. Hi there, everyone. It's Jeff, and this is Plain English, where you get to upgrade your English with stories about current events and trending topics. By listening here, you'll hear new words, hear new ideas, and learn new ways of expressing yourself in English. This is episode number 809 on Thursday, October 9th, 2025. The full transcript of the episode with built-in translations of keywords is at plainenglish.com/809. That's also where you'll find practice exercises, the fast audio, and the chance to practice talking about this topic. It's all at plainenglish.com/809, thanks to our producer, JR. Before we start today's story, I'd just like to remind you that the podcast is just one part of how we can help you upgrade your English skills. At plainenglish.com, you can make faster progress with active learning strategies. You can take quizzes, do activities, listen to the fast version of the audio, watch video workshops, practice what you learn, and even join a live call with JR and me. It's all about helping you build your skills to become a better, more confident English speaker. Sound good? Go to plainenglish.com to start your free 14-day trial today. Now, let's jump into today's story. The ancient Roman city of Pompeii has been studied for centuries. It's one of the most famous ruins in the world, but only 2/3 of it have been explored. But now, part of that final third is being opened up for exploration, and archaeologists are finding new discoveries that show what life was like in this thriving Roman Empire city. They uncovered things like a bathhouse, jewelry, and richly painted rooms. They even learned about how some people tried to survive the famous volcanic eruption that destroyed the city. Pompeii was a city on the western coast of Italy, at the base of Mount Vesuvius, on the Bay of Naples. Humans first settled in the area in the 7th century BC. But by the 1st century AD, Pompeii had become a lively town in the Roman Empire. Researchers estimate around 12,000 people lived in the city, including both the wealthy residents and their servants. It attracted visitors from far away. Towering over Pompeii was the great Mount Vesuvius, a volcanic mountain nearly 1,300 meters high. But the residents at the time had no way of knowing it was a volcano. Its most previous eruption would have been centuries earlier. But they were about to find out. In the late summer or early fall of the year 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted and buried the city under a thick layer of ash. The eruption lasted for at least a full day, maybe longer. In the first hours of the eruption, a lot of residents fled the area, but historians believe more than 16,000 people across the region lost their lives, including about 2,000 in Pompeii itself. It was one of the deadliest volcanic eruptions in all of history. When it was all over, Pompeii was buried under as much as 7 meters of ash and rock. That blanket of debris sealed off the city, preserving Roman life almost exactly as it was. After the disaster, the site was abandoned for more than 1,000 years. In the 1700s, explorers began to dig into the ruins of Pompeii and the surrounding towns. But they weren't focused on preservation or learning. They were focused on loot. They took jewelry, artwork, and statues. By the mid-1800s, attitudes had shifted. Italian archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli took charge of the site in 1860 and decided to share Pompeii with the world. He welcomed tourists for the first time and reported his findings to scholars. Over the years, more and more of Pompeii was uncovered. Archaeologists found an amphitheater, temples, and luxury homes decorated with mosaics and art. But they also found small shops and cramped housing for workers. Together, these discoveries turned Pompeii into something more than a collection of ruins. People began to see it as an open-air museum, a place where Roman life was frozen just before disaster struck. Today, about 2/3 of Pompeii has been uncovered. The remaining third still lies underground, sealed beneath ash and rock. But now that final third is starting to be explored. In 2023, archaeologists began a new excavation. It was the largest at Pompeii in more than 70 years, and they are starting to publish their findings. The most striking discovery was a large bathhouse. It was located in a private home, a luxurious villa, and this was at a time when most homes didn't have any baths. But this bathhouse would rival a modern-day spa. It had hot, warm, and cold baths. It was decorated with brightly painted walls and detailed mosaics. It was big enough for 30 people, and it was connected to an elegant dining room. That same house also had a private laundry and a bakery. It probably belonged to an elite politician. Another discovery showed the human toll of the volcano. In a small but well-appointed home, they found evidence that a family had tried to barricade themselves into a bedroom by pushing a bed up against the door. When they knew that wouldn't save them from the eruption, they tried to flee the house, but they only made it as far as the dining room. Archaeologists also found something that most of us can relate to even today: a bench carved with rudimentary graffiti. They believe that servants, laborers, and other residents of the town would have waited on this bench to see the powerful people in a luxury villa. To pass the time, the people waiting carved their names, dates, and other small inscriptions into the bench. The current excavation work is not happening on the entire remaining part of Pompeii, just on a small neighborhood. Excavation work moves slowly. It's detailed, careful, painstaking work. So Pompeii may be providing more and more surprises well into the future. When the current work is complete, the site may be open to visitors. About 4 million people visit Pompeii every year. I was fascinated to learn how they find skeletons and objects like furniture. In many cases, they don't find the objects at all. They just find a hole in the ash where organic matter, like bodies or wood furniture, used to be. And when they find the hole, they fill the hole with plaster. They carve out the surrounding rock, and the plaster that remains is a mold of what had been buried under the ash. And that's all for us at Plain English. You know, I always say you get to learn new things at Plain English. But the great part, really the better part from my point of view, is that I also get to learn a lot in the process just by creating the episodes. I knew so little about Pompeii, it's not even funny. So almost everything you heard today, I learned for the first time when I was researching this episode. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to learn all about Pompeii along with you. PlainEnglish.com/809. That's where you can find everything associated with today's episode, the transcript, the translations, the fast version of today's audio, a chance to talk about what you learned, practice your pronunciation, practice your listening, all that at PlainEnglish.com/809. We'll be back on Monday with a new topic. See you then. Listen up if you speak Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, German, French, Italian, Japanese, Polish, or Turkish. One of the most frustrating things about listening and reading in a second language is being confused by unfamiliar words or phrases. When you listen to Plain English, or when you read the transcript, you probably encounter some words you don't know. When that happens, you have a few options. You can stop the audio, go look up the definition, then return to the episode, find your place, and press play again, but that's exhausting. Or you can just skip it and be confused. That's no fun either. But what if you could see the translation of the word into your language instantly without having to stop the audio, without having to look anything up? Well, you can at PlainEnglish.com. For each episode, we translate about 100 words and phrases from English to 9 languages: Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, German, French, Italian, Japanese, Polish, and Turkish. And we highlight those words in blue. All you have to do is hover your mouse over the highlighted word, and you'll see the translation instantly. It works great on mobile too. It really makes listening a lot more satisfying, and it's a great way to expand your vocabulary in English. The best way to see these translations is to sign up for a free 14-day trial at PlainEnglish.com. During your trial, you can read as many transcripts as you like, all with the translations into your language. So sign up for your free trial today at PlainEnglish.com.